idea traffic would be this bad. All you do is get through one more.
Architect Daniel Burnham would be in charge of creating from Roman architecture in the style of Paris, known as the Beaux-Arts, or City Beautiful movement. Like Michigan was invented in its early days. In home, when you turn on your there's a floating room in it. So you see, everything they did for that world in years from frontier to
Of yourself, you didn't like
slate upon which for more efficient building materials, the evolution of architectural framing. Jenny introduced the iron and steel grid frame, a tripartite division of base, shaft, and capital, every inch of broad and soaring thing. 8-point tower condominiums from 1968. That's a great example of modernist, quick decoration of the building. That's bourgeois. Came in 1980s post-punk electronica band that was the same thing. And as director of the Illinois Institute of Technology here, which spread the modernism of architecture comes on. Other Chicago from the young woman architect, Jeannie Louis Sullivan would say form follows function. Look at Jeannie's buildings. First they find a view. Then they point out that was cool. View. What if the laser was still cool? Jeannie would build a balcony. Even 50 stories up, form follows function. Now you see that quarry used by Michelangelo. Completed it. 43,000 rocking crumble. It was about to fall off and hit us on the head. And you know what? A tiny piece of Chicago, the name of the river is coming from the Native American Chautauqua, which tracked too much money. Let's go home. Until the river guide, a 10-year-old Native American, the south branch of this river, carrier canoe, with a link in an inland waterway system connecting the entire continent, hog butcher to the world, with Chicago's famous Union stockyards. We use this river as a sewer that polluted the lake, our drinking water. They're using gravity as an almost musk-like onion skin nose on our right. That is the Hotel Medina Shriners, Sons of the East. And look to your right, modernist work of art, that is Big John, the John Hancock Center, at 1100 steel, not an ounce of decoration. That's modernism. 1989, Skidmore, Owings and Merrill. NBC Tower, Chicago shows offers the same architectural crews from our docks here at Michigan. Commissioned by Chewing Gum. As a young man, William Wrigley Jr. had gone against downtown. That clock tower is modeled on the Spain. And on your right, like a Caribbean newspaper, 1920 contest for the most beautiful office building. And speaking of France, we refer to our Grand Press. The bridge you might notice we named Dusable Bridge, the Eastmont Dusable. He started Owings and Merrill, and for the life of me, I pay 125 simply by putting the spire up on the roof. Like comedy sketch, but the group that rates all the tall buildings around the globe. They see beautiful style with a beautiful building with a cupola dome and water tank, deep built with diamonds, from Lower Wagger Drive right into the basement, and auto elevation. Safety was a big issue. This was prohibition. You could always find a drink in this town. During prohibition, Al Capone, like that. And on our right, it's going to be a modernist mission. I bet you know Mises frame, Skinner glass curtain wall, space usually is square. Unless we hence the curvilinear design. Although Goldberg had studied this marina city as a complete city, 4 restaurants, they've got a bowling alley, a swimming pool, give them 24-hour urban living. The river industrial, that's White Cal on our right, elements of the river garden remaining. And above the bridge is international style. In a nutshell, the international style. We cannot determine what the businesses of the glass and steel box. By George Rise here by the clock tower. The tower, you're going to find this building to be, there's only 4 on the left. Now the 5th bay, now the Reed Murdoch Center building, you've been there for 13 years. You know, you'd think they could have just bought it. Now 300 LaSalle on your right, Fred, it shows a long time we forgot about the river buildings even turned their back. Now we're like to use this symbol. Chicago School 1912 Jason Sanborn Coffee Warehouse as a brain. Number one, internal called the Chicago window in the early days of the building trade. Third element of this building in Chicago's glacial soil, box-like structures built with concrete before you hit something solid. And on the right, one of the grandest examples, this is the Chicago Merchandise Mart. Largest structure in 4,000 windows, 7 miles of hallways, $82 million. Marshall Field Department Store commissioned it with $5 million in back taxes. Now back then, who do you think could afford such a big building? Kennedy was a man of action. He got things done. 6 acres of floor space, he brought in the perfect clients, the furniture design trade. Welcome to the beginning of Chicago. This is where the North Branch right. If it were the early 1829, Brook Point Tavern across the way, and at the corner of Lake Street, Native Americans, they did party together and dance on a Saturday night. Convent turned into a church for services. Most interesting, the early building was said to be Creole fiddle player Marc Bobier, known for saying, "I'll fiddle like a dead." Rutgers voted in 1833, 12 against 1 to incorporate. Chicago, the city for we tour the North Branch right here. Imagine, ready? Not 1, not 2, but 3 escape. Reasonable prices, cap, best place to watch the sun go down in Chicago. 50-story in front of it. My view is about to go the way of the very first loft conversion unit in Chicago. This is Harry Wiesen. The biggest job was pulling all the horsehair. Wow.
Ballerina.
Horsehair. Can you tell this architect was a sailor? Look at the porthole windows. He was an architect, he was a sailor, and I would act as today, the return of residential living. See, living downtown for 100 years after the Great Chicago Fire. You say, water is a magnet, it will draw people to it. The original source, the blue, the azul. And if you don't have it, always running through your veins. That's so wrong, 2 big reasons. Number one, simple economics. Remember, Al couldn't afford brick or steel. If he could only rebuild, and residential living fell off the river. Now that Chicago sanitary and ship canal of 19, you know that took 8 years to dig. They took out more dirt than the Panama Canal. And St. Louis had a much better idea. They sued Chicago in federal court. The University of Illinois chemistry professor proved to the federal judge, "No worry, I'm the dirty Chicago water made it to St. Louis, therefore I need to win in lieu of the trial." Unfortunately, for most cities, you know what I can tell you? The great Federal Environmental Protection Agency even said good news shit is out there. Hell, but you must understand there's so much abuse of this road. So offhandedly, I changed my mind. Did railroads? That was a good connection. But then the railroads pretty much took over the canals. So in 1990, Chicago takes a clue from San Antonio, Texas, that if you build it it suggested setback citizen says it. So on the one hand, we're doing everything we can. They take a little bit of time. You know, it's just like a corporate deal.
So is it materialist or idealist?
Measuring the rate of change. But don't try that on your own, please. The Chicago River's now, all the yellow brick houses in Kinsey Street were put in the wrong place. Don't blame the workers. It's underneath the city of Chicago. A miniature locomotive coal train, 100 dice mark. So the workers don't even know they cracked the ceiling. Chicago River where there's leak abandoned train tunnel. The cable guy is laying cable. He looks up, Chicago River watching him saying, "Whoa, dude." Company down there, you're patched the leak. No more erosion in this for 4 months. All I can say is the 13th, if you had been standing on the Kinsey Street Bridge, you would have seen the street.
Really?
Water to fill the Sears Willis Tower was pulled into the Whirlpool. Merchandise Mart, the Chicago Daily News building. The water traveled underground the way south to the Board of Trade. Everything was shut down. They had to close Chicago.
What up, dude?
Seesaw, easily turning on the front of your neck with a counterweight. Boom, the counterweight, you can right here, you would have found a rickety wood building called the Wigwam. Erected in only 5 weeks, Abraham Lincoln received the nomination to run for the presidency. You can't get much greener than taking an already existing, don't tear it down, just have balconies for barbecues. Building with one of the highest clock towers on the planet, it was originally built Chicago. Gave the railroads all this primer. Magically, your pocketbook, your wallet got lighter. You bought breakfast. Trust you see up there. The first building to offer public parking. Hey, here's a little bit of secrets. Chicago also became the street where approaching used to be called artists, anarchists, and the wobblies, the industrial workers of the world. Protege and lover, the anarchist, them was a lecture and issue a hobo college diploma. Copy at home. Sandberg, the writer Juna Barnes, the dancer Catherine Dunham, or even the bound for people who think. They'll be meeting Saturday nights at 8 o'clock as invited to the lecture. Attend after the main speaker, the world famous rebuttal period, and say what's on your mind. What rule? They still follow the whole. More about that. Talk to me on the tour. On the right, passing gateways, textbook picture of architecture changing over 60s, 70s, and 80s. So it's an adjective, that really pure 60s modern look. Neoclassic on top of Union Station. Please go inside. It was inspired by the Roman gods about marble staircases. And if you want to get your own kids, take the shoreline sightseeing road up there, and it has a 66 road mark. You want to find the beginning of Route 6? Architect the 10th in the world today, the Willis Family Sears Tower. Architect features a glass floor. You enter it, you're 103 floors. Then you're 103 floors up. Anything else up 100-story Sears Tower, and they gave them naming rights. And I'm astounded Mr. Richard Sears and Mr. Al Verona and Sears Company will go into detail more, but like every Chicago, and I will call it, I guess I should let you know, when I call it the Sears Tower, I do have to practice singing. So when I say the word Sears, I think you should know I'll be using technique of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, or the Cranker Gentleman building. Congress Park we're cutting right.
还没有改正。
I'm going to put forth an argument. The mail order catalog business invented right here in Chicago. Print to the farm. Back in the day, wasn't the farm, even without Ward and Sears, we built the giant Chicago. Do it big, we'll come back bigger. 1921. It's like waiting for Godot, as our friend the playwright Beckett might say. The old building, long abandoned, sold at public auction 5 years ago. The world is suffering right now from a terrible shortage of interesting things. So if you know what I want to press upon you, Chicago became the skies. We had no choice. We were locked in the early days. The river was too hard to get back to work. And that meant if you were in business, none of this telecommuting. No, if you were in business this way, especially my younger passengers, think way back before summer. You would meet your customer not Facebook to Facebook, but Facebook. It's only a one-story building. That's why this complex would only come from Bertram Goldberg, right? Same architect who did those. He really thought outside the box. And it would have looked quite serpentine if it was an X bridge. It was amused with really loud.
Parquet.
Goldberg was a pretty all the bright orange color. Because when you think that is far, the Aspiremen get their truck October 8th, 1871, the days in the cow that Henri Heifer. Yes, the great Chicago fire started right there. Yes, there was a cow named I come before you and I say forgive me. This is O'Leary's cow. Daisy the cow was framed. No one really knows how the great Chicago fire started. You know what they actually did? They found a piece of broken lantern and they started over now doing things like that. Ready with a blue sky behind it, ladies and gentlemen. I give you. So you reduce the mass to be flexible. And you follow tallest building in the world, 1974.
就是嘛，这比这好看吧？
It even showed up in me last year.
是 Albatross or Seagull?
It was the tallest building in Chicago for 25 years. Who was going to see it that high up was the common thinking. But actually, it was styled on it. Statues don't get faces. Very famous Art Deco statue is named Oscar. Trivia points. Who makes the Oscar statues for Hollywood? Now, in 1980, a world-class architect from Germany, Helmut Jahn, he adds an annex to the board of steel modern material. So let's go to Jahn. Postmodernism, reinterpretation of history. It's not a little bit of Jungian synchronicity. Take your thumb and forefinger. Ice building. Isn't it curious? It looks like a complete postmodern playground, if you will, with a pink record for a short while.
Do you know that?
Postmodern building, the Crown. Note the 10-story. Right here, Chicago. It's called this one. So, it's like that rather famous Midwestern restaurant with a neo-Gothic facade. Right downtown, you will find your visitor center for 69. 2 years. The Great Fire. Guess what? Pace and height of the Sears Tower one more time, friends. And as you do, imagine you. Andre Barrow with their permission. Yes, I speak of the art. Wait, you're on vacation. Okay, scratch that. You don't have to do that assignment. Documentary that came out of my favorite London architect, Norman Foster. Two, why are you asking that question? Anyway, that's what Bucky Fuller asked Norman Marvelon, right, friends? This is the former Chicago murder. You see the city streets? They're being supported by the military bills. They're hands forever now, right? Now you're on the top. Did the buildings cover straight? Well, during the building phase, shifted back in history. Absolutely cool.
Back to the opera.
Opera building, Art Deco. Coming in. Everyone asks me, why does it say Civic Opera building with a V? It's up looking like a giant armchair or a throne. That would earn this building. And a commission if Sam Insel was the king of electricity. From faces west, turns its back to the east. Oh, that's because of Sam's girlfriend. No, I mean your minivan. No, redo building in the shape of a giant chair so he can turn his back on that snobby New York guy. He's been now for 50 years. Guess what? The other day, everything is true. Yes, Art Deco, right. You don't see this post-World War II office building design so much anymore. Where this came from? The river barges. You're going to see on the Riverwalk bar design right there. And the whole world knows about that. That is when the labor called in team. He advised Captain Bonfield of the Chicago when told to exit the speakers of civilians that it was indeed a tragedy. But it was the events of the very next day. It didn't matter that it was going to be by the labor holiday, founded right here, but celebrated. Go have a burger over at the Haymarket King, and maybe learn a little more history. Bank, which David Letterman facetiously called the Pro.
Yeah.
At that time, after he started the old A&P grocery store chain. They got separated from the main explorers. They'll walk or drive the roadway on our right a little bit. This was the world's phenomenon. Burnham conceived it with plan of 1909, you know? So, but no man is an island. Continue working with the Chicago Planning Commissions. You see, we really do use every inch of space in Chicago. The upper level takes the building for the city, and then all your physical planning. Paris on the prairie. Burnham was a student of history, and as industry, and in this recreation. We knew that would happen very soon. The LaSalle Racket building on the truth of why Art Deco ended up the opera story. Consider the reality. You had all these tall buildings go up, and they blocked the fresh air incubator. People could hardly breathe. Therefore, put in a setback ordinance, and that setback ordinance meant any new property, like a chair seat almost, feel of color architecture. The field is something of a modern classicism. Beton brut, or 75, 35 Striker Drive coming up on the right with the checkered buildings in the loop. This happens to be home to the Irish architect Kevin Roche with his 1989 postmodern building. Very school reference work date. And you see it at the very top of the potential of the Riverwalk. Fully realized this is our Illinois-Vietnam War. For people hanging out in public space. It's been my own open-air university. My teacher was named Sock. Still looks like a bottle of champagne. That may have been vain. It was designed by the Royal Commons. I called it Cafe. And right above it, like a rocket ship about to. Why do you think terracotta was so popular? After the one thing to remember, terracotta is indeed fired clay, and that meant fire. Now, artistically, if you look closely at the Wrigley building, they're used terra canvas. The key to a great artist often is in your shading for the Wrigley building. If you in 6 different colors, they actually go from a blue-white to a creamer white. Bridge, 2 buildings of note with a concave face, the Beaux-Arts 1923 line, 333 North Michigan Avenue, carved in bas relief. They come from the London Guarantee Code. Used to. They're almost extinct. Like a 2 blue bars, like a 3 white stripes, like a 4 red stars. The top, you know, the 3 white stripes of the signs of the city. The 1933 Century of Progress World's Fair. What do you remember the Fair of 33 dance? She showed up. Yes, well. People probably like to put pants on horses. Structure. Please see that building. Or, if you're adventurous, go to the 94th floor observation tower. The John Hancock Center just opened. And what do you think they do? They tilt you 30 degrees. Illinois Central. Harry Weiss, who did those charming beginning of the tour in the 1950s, he gives us the triangular Swiss.
Oh yeah.
I really don't think the architect was synchronicity. What was really going on? Architecture never he was affording the most certain Chicago school of the 1800s. Very popular for business. Art downtown, right? Because you can find something in the center of the building because it was done by the popular Chicago school architects. And now a word about this. If you come back down here, it shoots an 80-foot arc. Canada, a couple on the Riverwalk. It goes off every day. Attended top of the hour. Now, you can't do it right now because the notorious phenomenon called even if that interesting sight happens to show up when we're driving something. Now, the mountain is really the centerpiece of what is called city. You might find yourself living in the world's best thinking the tallest building in the Western Hemisphere. You want some good skyscraper until you come to work one day and suddenly project as of 2008. Now he's in Chicago.
What time is it?
He has a mind.
So you're eating with me and
They were inspired privacy retained by the shallow curve. The circle at the top, which myself on your behalf go up there and see what night. I have come down from the mountain to tell you, absolutely spectacular, and so are the prices.
Okay.
On your right is the police marine unit. Should they ever find a new home, I will be. Since we might see a bit of the crown jewels of Chicago, museums down to things that you there. Dan Burnham's plan. Now Burnham really was. There's probably a good chance instead of Chicago City Hall, because back in the day, that's what you would do. It was renamed after. And then the pier actually was used as a naval training base. One of those pilots, of course, was former President George Bush Sr. Estimated to be 200 planes at the bottom of Lake Michigan, still from training trade shows and events under Mayor Jane Burton's administration. In the 1980s, I myself at Chicago Fest in August 9th, the world has ever produced. That would be the late great altogether for renovation. They gutted it, they added, they rehabbed back the towers at the front, and then they made everything brand new with the skyline, and of course that Ferris wheel. So appropriate, we find the Ferris wheel in Bushnell, Illinois. And did you know, he put up the first Ferris wheel. See, Chicago being Chicago. She showed up at the Paris exhibition in 1889. So people were nervous knowing that if they'd ever taken the Ferris wheel, you could have a shot of whiskey. The clocks went in 1938. Never was that Chicago attitude more evident, my friends, than after that great Chicago. And you imagine the day after the fire, a third of the city gone. 17. It was that building that gave them the hope to say, we will rebuild this city. Grandpa, as you disembark to say final. The river, she runs up the hill. Architecturally significant city on the face of this entire planet. New Delhi, Helsinki, London, Dublin, Auckland City, Amsterdam. So of course not forget to say Moscow for one or two buildings. Hello Cleveland, is anybody home? San Francisco. I will not forget to say Jefferson, Mr. Adrian Smith, this is up to 280 feet. Oh, Atlanta, New Orleans, Dallas, Denver, and Detroit City will see shoreline sightseeing. If you had fun today, feel
selfie.
Yeah, just say hello to him.
3, 2, 1. One more. 3, 2, 1.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I have.
Yeah, correct. Like, duh. Cafe, look. For a European cafe. What do you think design has?
Let's go.
So when you come back, they'll be there. You'll be like, what's the difference?
Like, really? This one in a helicopter.
Oh, that was cool.
Oh, indeed. Totally.
That's actually
You can. I don't even think you can. Okay, 3, 2, 1, smile. Okay, 3, 2, 1.
No. You're talking to me of foreigner. Don't forget. Cannot be picky. Yeah. Cannot be choosy. Right, yeah.
Moving. What are you gonna do? Ay, wait. Turn to the
right. 3, 2, 1.
Okay. I hope she doesn't fall though. Or they. Oh, partay. My lucky. Hi, birdie. Good night.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, smile. What does that mean?
No, but you said yes. I'm happy now. You've been. Wrecked. I wrecked. So.
It could be I don't care.
Oh, okay.
Are you?
Really? No, I said okay. See?
Like,
I see. Hurry. Nice and breezy.
走了很多路不。没穿，我不知道。
Got you there on time.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Okay, yeah.